Hi, I'm Carter Wiederin with Karl Chevrolet in Ankeny, and today we're going to be doing a virtual delivery on a 2020 Trax. We're going to kind of start on the outside here and just run over a couple key features on the outside, and then we'll go ahead and hop on the inside and get you familiarized with everything in there. One of the first things to cover on the outside here is just this keyless entry button on the door handle here. To use this, you do have to have the key fob within, I'd say, about 3 feet in your pocket or in your purse, whatever works. Right now, all of the doors are locked. So if I go ahead and press this button one time, it's going to unlock all 4 doors for you. And then press it one time again, and it's going to lock all 4 doors. The driver's side is a little bit different, so once we get over there, we'll go ahead and cover that. But other than that, on the side here, that's all we have to cover over here. So we're going to go ahead and hop in the back and just cut a couple things back here. First things first, obviously the liftgate button is just right underneath there. Go ahead and press that, and it'll go ahead and raise for you. Underneath here, you do have your spare tire and all that, jack, tire iron, all that good stuff is hidden underneath here. You can just go ahead and lower that again, and it's going to look normal. To shut this, just grab this little handle here, go ahead and pull it down, and then the one last thing on the back side here is just these park assist sensors here. So these are when you're backing up and you're getting close to something, that's what actually beeps at you. So your rear view camera's right here. They just kind of talk to each other. The camera doesn't beep at you. It's actually the park assist sensors that do, but they do work together. All right, so now we're going to come around to the driver's side door and cover the keyless entry on this side. Right now, all 4 doors are unlocked. So if I go ahead and press this button one time, it's going to lock all 4 doors, same as on the passenger side. But now, since all the doors are locked, if I press this button once, it's going to unlock just the driver door. You got to double tap it to unlock all 4 doors. So that's the only difference on the driver and passenger side is on the driver's side to unlock all 4 doors, you do have to double tap, as opposed to on the passenger side, you only have to hit it once to unlock all 4 doors. All right, so now we're going to kind of cover your key fob for your Trax. Couple things on here, one being your remote start. So in order to use that, you have to press your lock button at least once and then press and hold. I like to double tap the lock button in order to hear the horn honk. So we double tap and then press and hold this for about 5 seconds. It's going to go ahead and start your vehicle up for you. You can do 2 10-minute cycles with this. So if you start it once for 10 minutes, it's going to shut off on you after 10 minutes. Go ahead and start it up again. So you can do 2 of those 10-minute cycles before you actually have to get in and start the vehicle yourself. I'm going to go ahead and shut this off just by pressing and holding that semicircle again. But now, kind of the last thing on the key fob here is if you see that little chrome button on the side there, so if we press that and pull out, it's going to bring out our actual physical key. So hopefully you never need to get to this, but if you ever do, it would probably be in the event that your car battery is dead. So if the battery in your vehicle ever dies and you need to get your key out, come over to the driver door here, just put your key in, and you can kind of unlock your doors from here in order to get in to pop your hood to actually jump start your vehicle. All right, so now we're sitting inside the vehicle. We're going to start over here on the door panel, cover these things, and then we're going to just work our way over. Starting over here, though, this knob right here is how you go ahead and adjust your mirrors. So if you move it to the left, you're adjusting your left mirror. Move it to the right, you're adjusting your right mirror. And then you just use this guy here to go up, down, left, or right. And then I like to keep mine popped back in the middle. That way, if I ever bump it, it's not going to mess with anything. Moving down here, you have all 4 of your windows. And then the window lock button is right here. So if you press that, the kids in the back can't mess with the windows and lower them if you don't want them lowered. And then right here, just lock or unlock and lock your doors. We're going to go ahead and move over here now. This guy right here, I like to leave that popped in. That way, if I bump it, it's not going to mess with anything. But when your headlights are on automatically, you can pop that out, and then you can twist it to the left to dim and brighten your dash and radio. And then I like to keep it popped in just so it doesn't mess with anything. Your automatic lights here. So you're probably going to leave them on auto for the most part. If we go to the left, it's going to shut off your automatic lights, and then back to the left again to turn them back on. And then if you move this all the way to the right, that's how you manually turn on your headlights. But we're going to keep it in an auto for the most part. And then for your fog lights, just go ahead and push that button, and that'll turn them on, and push it again to turn them off. So now we're going to move down to here. This little lever right here is how you go ahead and pop your hood. So if you pull it, it's going to unlatch your hood, and then you would go to the front of the vehicle to actually fully open your hood. up here, you do have a little extra storage compartment, whatever you might think it's handy for, keep something in there, but then just go ahead and push it to shut it. And then if we move down here, this is how you adjust your seats. So this one right here is a lumbar support. If you push it forward, you're gonna feel it moving into your back, and then push it backwards and you'll feel it moving kind of away from your back. This one right here, you can slide your seat forward and slide your seat backward. You can move it down, up, and then you can also tilt your seats a little bit. And then kind of back here behind the seat belt, there's a little lever right here, and that's how you actually recline your seat. So whatever you think's comfortable, you can always adjust that. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and jump inside the vehicle and start covering some of the key features inside. So right now our vehicle is off, so I'm gonna show you how to go ahead and turn the vehicle on. To use the push to start here, you just have to have your foot on the brake and the key fob inside the vehicle, and then we just press this button here, and it's gonna start our vehicle for us. To turn it off, you don't need to have your foot on the brake or anything, but if you just press this button here, that's gonna shut the engine off. And then if we go ahead and move down here, our parking brake, just go ahead and pull up on it, and that'll set your parking brake. And to release it, you just push this button on the end and push it down, and that's gonna release our parking brake for us. All right, so now that we're fully inside the vehicle, we're gonna start covering some stuff on the inside. We're gonna start up here with this stick that basically just controls your bright lights and your turning signals. For your bright lights, just go ahead and push away, and that'll turn on your bright lights. You can see that they're on from this blue emblem up here. And then just go ahead and push it forward again, and that'll shut them off. So now the blue light's gone. Turning signals, just go up for right, and then down for left. And then this whole menu up here is all controlled from this little wheel here and this menu button. So right now we're on our trip information, and you're gonna be right here for the most part. It gives you your speed and all that good stuff. But if we go down, it's gonna bring up your trip A and your trip B. To reset those, you just push this button on the end here, press and hold, and then that resets your trips. If we keep going down, it just gives you a couple more things: your fuel range, your instant fuel economy, your average fuel economy, and then your average vehicle speed. If I press this menu button here, it's gonna bring us over to the vehicle information. So right here we have our remaining oil life, our tire pressure, and then you can just change to the metric system if you're ever in Canada or for whatever reason. But other than that, if we press this menu button again to bring us back to the trip and then go down, speed is where you're gonna be at most of the time. Now that we're done with this stick, if we kind of come over here, basically just your cruise control stuff is right here. So the cruise control to turn it on and off is just this button here. And you can see that it's on from this emblem right here, just standard cruise emblem. To set your cruise, this wheel, just push it down, set cruise, and then you can do speed up, speed down, and then if you ever have to like hit your brakes and slow down, you can just press this up to resume your cruise speed, and that'll just bring you up to whatever speed you were last set at. This button here is for your forward collision alert. All this one does is kind of changes the range of how far it actually detects that there's a vehicle in front of you. So 3, 2, 1, and then off. So if it's set on 3, it's going to detect a vehicle pretty far away. And if you're ever coming up on a vehicle a little too fast, there's a red light up here that's going to shine up on or flash up on your windshield, just letting you know that you're coming up on the vehicle a little too fast. But that's basically it on kind of this half of the steering wheel. So we'll go ahead and move over here. We're going to hook your phone up to Bluetooth here in a little bit. So once we do that, you can answer and ignore phone calls through here, and also press this top button to make voice commands. So you can press that and say call whoever, and it'll come up and call for you. These right here adjust your volume on your radio. So if we press up, it's going to turn your volume up. Down is going to turn your volume down. And then this one right here, if we're on our audio screen, we'll go through your presets there. So if we go down, you're going to see it's kind of moving these to the left, and then if we go up, it's going to move them to the right. All right, so now we're going to move on to the windshield wipers. The one thing to note on here is at the end, the back wipers are all controlled from these buttons right here. So if it's in the middle, your wipers are off. If you go up, it's going to turn your wipers on, and then if you push this button down, it's going to turn your wipers on as well, but it's just going to be a little slower than if you had it up all the way up fully on. For your front wipers, this wheel right here is going to control the intermittent speed. So if it's all the way down, it's going to be pretty slow, more for if it's misting out. But if you move it keep going up, it's just going to progressively get faster on that intermittent speed. So if we push this stick up one time, it's going to be intermittent. Up one time again is going to be low, which is just a little faster than your fastest intermittent speed. And then if we go all the way up to the top, it's going to be high. But we're going to turn these off now. And then if you're ever driving and it's just misting out and you just need to give your wipers one good swipe, you can just pull down and that'll do your wipers one time. For front wiper fluid, pull the stick towards you. For rear wiper fluid, push away. I think that's almost everything on the steering wheel. So if we go ahead and start moving over here towards the touch screen, we'll start doing some of the fun stuff. So the first thing I like to do is go ahead and pair up your phone. To do that, we just click on this phone app and then connect phone here in the middle. And then we click add phone in the top left. And then we're going to go ahead and get our phone out and open it up and go to our settings. Click on Bluetooth. If we scroll down here under other devices towards the very bottom, it's going to come up and say My Chevrolet. So if we just click on that, it's going to come up on here and request a pair. You click pair on your phone and then click pair on the touchscreen. And then now that our phone has come up here, you're going to allow it to sync your contacts on your phone. And then now that that's set up, if we click this little pencil here, you're going to want to turn on First Connect and turn off secondary phone. All that does is if someone is in the passenger seat and pairs their phone, it's not going to kick you off and you both can have your phones paired simultaneously. But now that we have our phone paired up, if we go back and then click our home button here and go back to phone, it's going to bring, this is what it's going to look like every time you open your phone up now that your phone's paired up. So keypad, if you know the numbers, great, you can type them in. Your recent calls are all going to be right here. Contacts are in here as well. And the nice thing about the contacts, instead of sitting there scrolling through everything, you can click A to Z here and go to S, and it'll bring you directly to the S's. And then if you click on these names here, it's not going to call them right away. But if you click the star next to the phone number, that's how you start adding to your favorites list. So you can have up to 10 favorites in there. The people that you call most of the time, I just recommend throwing them in there. That way it makes it super easy to call. But also you can click this button here and make voice commands. So if I clicked that and said call Sam Duffy, it would call that number right there. Pairing another phone, inside the phone app, you just go to phones in the top right, add phone, and just do the same process that we just did for pairing multiple phones. That's basically a quick rundown on the phone app. So if we go ahead and click the home button now, we're going to go to our audio. So obviously this is our radio screen. You'll see on the left here, we have FM, AM, and XM. Just for kind of learning purposes, we're going to stick to FM just because it's what most people listen to nowadays. If you're pairing stations and you know the number of the station off the top of your head, the easiest way to do it is just by clicking tune. Type in 1075, click the star, and then that'll add your favorites. You can also kind of seek, and it'll find a station, and then you can press and hold, and that saves a favorite as well. And the one thing to note on here is all your favorites up here are going to be intermingled between your FM, AM, and XM. If you ever get to the point where you want to play music through your phone through Bluetooth, you can click more down here, and it's going to bring up your phone. So if you click on that, now we're listening to Bluetooth. But we'll go back to FM. Adjusting your bass and treble and mid-range. If we click sound here, you can adjust that. Fade and balance is in here as well. So if you just want to play music through the front speakers, if someone in the back is taking a nap, you can just move that kind of circle all the way to the front. And now we're just going to be playing music through the front speakers. But we'll keep it back in the middle. That's where it's going to be at most of the time. Alrighty, so inside our Wi-Fi app here, only really thing you need in here is your username and password. And the nice thing about that is you can customize those to whatever you want them to be. So for Wi-Fi name, if you just click on it, you can type in whatever you might want your Wi-Fi name to be. And you can also do the same thing for password. So if you just click on it, you can clear all that out and make a custom password. That way you don't have to look inside the app every time to see what your password is. Settings, we're just going to run through a couple key settings that I like to make sure are turned on or off. On system here, if you click on time and date, You can see right here, it's going to automatically update your time and date for you with daylight savings and time zones, so you don't need to worry about going in and manually setting your time. If we go back and go to apps, you're going to want to make sure Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are both on, and we'll get to that here in a little bit, kind of what those do. On vehicle here, just some of the main things is going to be power door locks. You're going to want to turn on open door anti-lockout probably. If you turn this on, all this does is if you shut the vehicle off and leave a key fob inside the vehicle and open the door and accidentally bump the lock button on the driver door, it's not going to lock your keys in your car. But if we go back and go down to remote lock, unlock, and start, you just can make it so your heated seats automatically turn on for you when it's cold out. So it's not going to turn your heated seats on in the middle of the summer. It's only going to do it if it's cold out. And then going all the way down here to the bottom, you have a remote left and vehicle alert. Most people like to leave this one on. All this does is if you shut the vehicle off and leave a key fob in here and get out and shut the door, it's going to honk at you 3 times, just letting you know that you left a vehicle inside or a key inside the vehicle. And one other setting inside of here is your valet mode. So this pin changes every time you use it. So if we just enter 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, and click enter, and then enter that one more time, it's going to flash for a couple seconds, and theoretically, if our radio is on, once it locks, it's going to shut our radio off, and it's going to lock us on this screen. That way, if you ever valet your vehicle, they can't get into like your contacts or your Wi-Fi settings or any personal information like that. And then if we go ahead and enter that code one more time and click unlock, and now we're back to normal, everything should be working again. That's some of the main things in settings, but the nice thing about that is if you go in here and click on something, and then click on it, it gives you a nice little summary on the right side of kind of what it does. But I went through the main things, so a lot of the stuff in there is just kind of preference stuff. If you want to mess with some of that stuff, you're always more than welcome to. But we're going to go back and then go home. And now we're going to get into our Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So with Apple CarPlay, we're just going to have to make sure we have our phone charger inside of our vehicle. And we're going to have to plug it into one of these 2 USBs up here. So these 2 USBs here are the only ones that actually talk to the radio screen and work for your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. But once our phone charger's in there, we're just going to go ahead and plug it into our phone. It's going to come up here and prompt us to accept a few things. So we're going to click more and continue. And here in a second, you'll see Apple CarPlay just turn green. So that means that we're connected. So if we go ahead and click on Apple CarPlay, it's going to bring up our map here. And you'll kind of see here on the left some of the things that you can use it for. But if you click down here where there's all these little app icons, if you click that, that'll show you all your compatible apps on here that you can use with the Apple CarPlay. So our phone, music, messages, and then the My Chevrolet app. If you have that on your phone, you can also do some stuff in there through that. But kind of the main thing, since we don't have the built-in nav in here, the main thing you're probably going to be using it for is for your maps. So if we go ahead and click on here, you can kind of see where we're at. If we click search, you can just bring up your keyboard and type in wherever you might want to go. But that's kind of some of the main features inside of Apple CarPlay. So I just recommend leaving an extra phone charger in here. That way you can always connect it if you need to. But now we're going to go ahead and move on to the Android Auto. So we're going to switch phones here and phone chargers. So once again, we're going to go ahead and plug in our USB, and then we're going to take our phone and plug it in. We're going to click more again and continue. And then it's going to bring up some prompts on our phone here for the Android Auto. We're going to click continue, more, and then yes, continue. And then you're going to have to turn on notification access here for your Android Auto. So we turn that on, click allow. And then we're just going to keep clicking continue through some stuff here. All right. So now you'll see on here on our phone it says it's set up. And also on the touchscreen here, Android Auto has turned blue for us. So if we go ahead and click on that, it's going to kind of bring up the same thing as Apple CarPlay, but obviously this is just the Android version. Our map right here, same thing. Click on that, search destinations. and then you can type in your address or keyword wherever you might want to go. But we'll go back here. And then this button down here is, you just click this and it's going to bring up all of our compatible apps. So you have Maps, Spotify, Google Play Music, your phone, and then just a bunch of other things that are capable to be used on the Android Auto. I believe that's kind of it on the Android Auto. So if we go ahead and go home again, the Onstar Services app, really the only thing you can do in here is click on that, go to Account, and it's going to show you when your trial expires, which is really nice. So that way you can always just keep tabs on when Onstar is going to run out. But if we click Home, that's basically everything on the touchscreen there. So we're going to kind of move down here to the climate control stuff. Right now, we're obviously kind of on AC because it's a little warm out this time of year. But if we move this to the right, that's just going to adjust the temperature inside the vehicle. So the red is going to be your heat. We're going to turn this back down. For our driver's side heated seat, we just press this button here. The orange light turns on, and that's what turns on the heated seat. We're going to press it again to shut it off. This button right here is basically just to turn on your AC. We're going to press this, and that'll turn it off. You'll see the orange light kind of went away, and now we press it again to turn the AC back on. This one here just recirculates cabin air. So if we want to take fresh air in from the outside of the vehicle, we press that button, and now it's going to be bringing in fresh air. Moving down here, this is how you adjust your fan speed. So right now we're on 1, which is one of our lower settings. 0 is going to completely turn it off. And then if we go all the way to the right, that's going to turn on our max front AC. Inside this wheel here, this button turns on our rear defrost, which is just going to defrost the back windshield. Press it again to shut it off. And then our fan position is all controlled from this right side here. So right now we're only on our face, but if we move it to the right one, it's going to be face and feet. Right one more is going to be just our feet. And then right one more time is going to be defrost and feet. And then all the way to the right is just our front defrost. And also inside this wheel here is how you turn on the passenger side heated seat. So press it, you'll see the orange light is on. Press it again, and that's just going to turn it off for you. Now we're going to move up to our OnStar Control Center. These 3 buttons here are all OnStar related. The first one we'll have you do is go ahead and press this button here to connect to your OnStar advisor, and that way you can get your 1-month trial of OnStar, or 3 months if you put a card on file with OnStar. And the 1 month cancels on its own. With the 3 months, you can always call in towards the end of your 3 months and customize your OnStar plan or completely cancel. It's completely up to you. The button on the right here is an SOS button. That one is basically the same as calling 911. So if you see an accident or are involved in an accident, you can press this button here, and that'll connect you to the authorities. And then on the left side here, if we press this, that's basically the same as hitting the OnStar Services button on our touchscreen. So if we press it, it's going to bring this up. On services, you can do the same thing kind of up that you did up here, but for turn-by-turn directions, you just press it. It'll connect to an OnStar advisor. You tell them where you want to go, and it'll speak directions to you through your vehicle. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the virtual delivery of your 2020 Chevy Trax. If you ever have any additional questions, feel free to give us a call at the dealership. But other than that, enjoy your new Trax.